जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम डॉक्टर साहब।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम, क्या हाल है जी आपका?
बस ठीक ठाक। जरा अपना वीडियो ऑन कर लें और एक दफा आपकी स्क्रीन भी शेयर करके देख लें कि वो चलती है।
2 से 4 बजे फंक्शन है। चलिए अब 2-4 मिनट के बाद। हाँ जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
वालेकुम सलाम डॉक्टर साहब। एक दफा सर स्क्रीन शेयर करके देख लें कि वो
हाँ जी मिल लेता हूँ, फिर फिक्र है बस मेरी शुरू में पाकिस्तान सोसाइटी फॉर सूही पाकिस्तान।
जी आ गई है शेयर, बिल्कुल आ गई है।
अच्छा वीडियो आ गया, वीडियो ऑन कर लूँ?
चेक कर लें, वीडियो ऑन कर ले।
हाँ ठीक है, मैं इधर 6 हाँ 6 जी आवाज आ रही है आपको?
जी जी आवाज आ रही है, बिल्कुल आ रही है।
तस्वीर भी आ गई है, तस्वीर भी आ गई है। हाँ अब 10 चेक करें।
डॉक्टर साहब आपको अगर मेरी आवाज आ रही है तो थोड़ा स्क्रीन अनशेयर कर दें ताकि हम नॉर्मल मोड में आ जाएं, तो फिर अनाउंसमेंट्स के बाद आप इंशाल्लाह वापस शेयर करेंगे स्क्रीन। थैंक यू।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
वालेकुम सलाम। क्या हाल है डॉक्टर साहब? हेलो डॉक्टर साहब। अच्छा जी, मैं भिजवाना जी डॉक्टर। जी डॉक्टर साहब, आप मौजूद हैं? भेजिए।
जी हाँ जी, लोग आ गए, शुरू करें।
नहीं जी, अभी नहीं। अभी कितनी रजिस्ट्रेशन हुई? 17 लोगों की रजिस्ट्रेशन है जी सीपीटी के लिए, और इस वक्त 7 आगे हैं। तो ये कोई 10-12 हो जाए तो हम इंशाल्लाह जी शुरू कर देते हैं।
ठीक है जी, बड़ी अच्छी बात है। बहुत शुक्रिया जी। मैं हम 4-5 मिनट बाद शुरू करते हैं।
हाँ जी बिल्कुल जी, 5 मिनट के बाद।
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
इंशाल्लाह जी हम 2:10 पे स्टार्ट कर देंगे फॉर्मली। कुछ लोगों का अब कोई 50-60% हो जाए तो हम स्टार्ट कर देते हैं। तो अभी 50% से कम है, मेरे ख्याल लोग आ जाएंगे। जी डॉक्टर अली साजिद, हम इंशाल्लाह we will be starting in 3 minutes जी।
श्योर जी, आई एम लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड। जैसे आपकी कन्वीनियंस है, मैं अवेलेबल हूँ।
ठीक है,
थैंक यू। इसकी रिकॉर्डिंग भी आप बाद में अपने फेसबुक पे अपलोड कर सकते हैं, वेब पे।
जी जी जी, सबकी हो रही है, हमारे जितने लेक्चर्स में सारे अवेलेबल है। हमारा
ये आप बहुत बड़ी कम्युनिटी सर्विस कर रहे हैं। ये पुराने जमाने में लोग कुएं खोदते थे पानी के लिए, आजकल इंटेलेक्चुअल क्यूरियोसिटी को ठंडा करने के लिए, इल्मी सुकून को तशनीकी को फरोग करने के लिए आप ये अमल कर रहे हैं। ये अल्लाह ताला की रहमतें आप पे आएंगी इंशाल्लाह ताला।
दुआ करेंगे ये जारी रहे और
इंशाल्लाह जारी रहे। एक दफा नेकी शुरू हो जाए ना, वो कम हो सकती है, खत्म नहीं हो सकती, ये याद रखिए। कमोपेशी होती है उसमें,
बिल्कुल ठीक
ये
है।
बढ़ेगी। मैं आपको कासिम ने शाह भी दे दूंगा अगले 6 महीने के अंदर, एक 3 घंटे वो भी पढ़ा देगा इसी तरह वॉलंटियर कर।
कोई नहीं उठा रहा। जी डॉक्टर अली साजिद, वी आर स्टार्टिंग दी informally. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is your host, Tahir Sultan. I welcome all of you on behalf of Pakistan Society of Civil Engineers in this lecture number 43. A very warm welcome to all the viewers on Facebook who are watching us, who are watching this transmission live from Lahore, Pakistan. This lecture is continuation of series of lectures that PSCE is presenting since 2020 for the benefit of young and experienced engineers to keep them abreast with advancing knowledge in different fields of civil engineering. Today's topic is reasons of failure of engineers in professional life, and our guest speaker today is Dr. Ali Sajid. Before I give him his introduction, before I give his introduction to you, there are certain rules which is my responsibility to inform you. The first one is all the registered participants for CPT points have to appear live on webcam. However, for the ladies, there is an exception. If they wish, they can cover their face while appearing live on the webcam. All the microphones, except that of the speaker, shall remain in mute position when the lecture is being delivered. There will be a question answer session of 20 minutes at the end of the lecture. And during that session, you are permitted to ask questions on the microphone. Otherwise, if you have any question during the lecture, just type it in the chat box. And whenever it is convenient for the speaker, I will read that question and the speaker will answer that. Participants on the Facebook, in any case, will have to type the questions on the in the chat box, and that I will read it whenever convenient for the speaker. These were the rules, and I again request all of you that please do not force me to make the announcements again and again. Appearing live on the webcam is a rule which PEC has specified very strictly, and we have to follow it also very strictly. So kindly cooperate. Thank you very much. Now, a very brief introduction of Dr. Ali Sajid. Dr. Saab's education first, he did his undergrads in mechanical engineering from UET Lahore in 1983. Then he proceeded to USA, from where he did his master's in 1990 from George Washington University, Washington, DC, USA. And from the same university, he did his PhD in Engineering Management in 1995. Dr. Ali Sajid, a professor of management and leadership, a corporate trainer, community development volunteer, with firm believer on achieving results through management of change and motivational aspects, which enabled him to conceive, design, and launch and successfully deliver outstanding results in educational management arena of Pakistan. He has taught in US universities for many years and has also worked at World Bank headquarters. Dr. Sajid is a motivational speaker, official trainer in MNCs and public sector organizations like NASPAC, State Bank, USAID, etc. He had taught and trained thousands of managers in project management, leadership, soft and interpersonal skills, customer services, quality, HRM, and SCM, etc. Has been giving consultancy on change management and quality enhancement, etc. He has a unique honor to conceive. He had a unique honor to conceive and launch 3 most successful management business schools in Pakistan during the last 13 years. These are NUST School of Business, formerly NIMS, in 1999, Masters and PhD in Engineering Management program at CASE, Islamabad, Institute of Business and Management at UET Lahore. Here he had successfully implemented change management philosophy and utilized strength of organization culture for achieving exponential growth coupled with friendly environment. He is involved at master's and PhD levels at adjacent faculty in many universities. He has worked in Planning Commission of Pakistan as advisor to Government of Pakistan on quality and productivity since 1988. I repeat it, I'm sorry. He has worked in the Planning Commission of Pakistan as advisor to Government of Pakistan on quality and productivity. Since 1988, he had been into higher education and corporate training in various universities across the globe. He is also striving to address issue of poverty alleviation through skills value addition for marginalized people by offering applied technical training. In recognition of his services, he was awarded Tamgha Imtiaz, which is a medal of distinction by the Government of Pakistan in 2005. So this was the very brief introduction of Dr. Saab. And in addition to his introduction, I just forgot, he has around 24 research papers published in, which are published in proceedings of national and international conferences and journals. So this was a very brief introduction of Dr. Saab. So Dr. Ali Sajid, this is your introduction is now almost finished. You can, the floor is yours, and kindly continue with your lecture. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Engineer Tahir Sultan. It's my honor, it's my privilege to share my अफ़कार परेशान और मुंतशिर ख्यालात की। ये जो सिलसिला पाकिस्तान सोसाइटी ऑफ सिविल इंजीनियर से शुरू किया है, बड़ा रिमार्केबल, और मैं इनको ब्रेक से पहले कह रहा था कि ये एक सदका जारी है जो आपने शुरू किया है, और इस सदका जारी है के सलात 2 साल 10 साल 5 साल प्रोसेस होता है। आज का टॉपिक ये गैर रवायती टॉपिक है और ये 2 घंटे पे मुहित है 4 बजे तक। ऐसे ये
Yes, doctor, just I have to intervene. We had, this transmission is going live on Facebook, so we have foreigners there also who
okay, so we will
have the
talk
privilege of listening to you. So okay. Thank you very much.
So do tell me what are the timings? 2 to 4, I believe.
It is 2 to 4. It is 1.5 hour lecture and half an hour about question answer session. So it is a mix. You can have 1 hour 45 minutes, 1 hour 15 minutes, and we can adjust the question answer session with the lecture time. No issues.
Okay. I've been teaching in the UET Lahore and at NUST to the technical managers and engineers, and I have observed that they are relatively less successful, if not failure. Why engineers are less technical, less successful in the industrial field. They are more successful after 20 to 30 years of experience when they get the exposure, when they get to know the dynamics of industry and corporate sector. So for the first 15 or 10 years, they are moving left and right in a very disorganized and chaotic fashion. So I deliberately spent some time, I made it sure that I share my 40 years of experience of engineers, handling with engineers, why they are less successful compared to business graduate in the industry. And I have chalked out certain points which I will address or elaborate one by one. I always start my statement of discussion with famous statement of Confucius, the Chinese philosopher. He said around 4,000 years ago, don't curse the darkness, light a candle. Don't curse the darkness, light a candle. And in Urdu, a famous Urdu poet, Ahmad Faraz, translated his idea, which is you can see on the view file, Shikwa zulmat shab se to kahin behtar tha, apne hisse ki koi sharma na. Today's effort from my side being volunteer to this great cause started by Engineer Tahir Sultan for the spread of education and awareness and technical competency and enhancement. While I appreciate their efforts, I also try to contribute a bit for his journey of great mission or sacred cause. So my words will either attract a strong mind or offend a weak one. This is my point of view, and hope, courage, and self-confidence. This is the message for my fellow citizens, the statement of Father of the Nation. Our core job is to spread hope, give encouragement, and enhance the level of self-confidence to the fellow Pakistanis. This is the great message of Father of the Nation. I'm starting with his statement, and one or two motivational quotes. In Urdu, we call it awaz-e-akhlaq. When person does good deed, when he or she did not have to, God looks down and smiles and says, for this moment alone, word, it was worth creating word. It was worth creating. Selflessness is antithesis of selfishness. So add value selflessly for the betterment of the society. Nature will reward you through some other means, if not directly, indirectly. This is the first message of it. Stephen Covey, the famous writer, book writer, his book, 7 Habits, is most popular book across the globe. He says, be a light, not a judge. Be a model, not a critic. We should be ambassador of hope, and our core job is to spread light, not to give the false judgment. So we should be a role model, not a critic. Today's discussion is primarily meant for relatively young professional technical managers and engineers who are into the technical field with 5 to 10 years of experience, and I am giving them some life skills for them to enhance their level of competency to make them more successful in everyday life. The first thing which I believe in engineers they lack is relationship management. Engineers typically are inward focused, more self-centered, and prefer to work alone in their isolated cabins or pigeonholes, I should say. And they are not good in networking relatively, some of them, if not all of them. So what I am saying today is not general, it is specific to 5 or 10%, maybe 20%. So please do not take my observation as any negative comment against any technical manager or engineer. Bangla and Tarbela Dam has been made by these high-tech professionals, we call it Pakistani engineers. So we don't want to say them, they are less successful. I'm talking about early young professional engineers who came to the market and spent 5 to 10 years, rather wasting 5 to 10 years. The first reason, according to my observation, is they are not good networking professional. Network 21st century is century for networking. So there's a dire need to develop the relationship with the professionals. And these are fair and legitimate shortcuts which helps you in life to make progress. So another statement of the motivation today is a candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. So our core job is to enhance level of networking and boost relationship as a core job of a young professional. You should be a member of your respective society as Pakistani Society for Civil Engineers, for example, and also UVTN groups through Facebook, through WhatsApp, and through occasional gatherings, and try to find the opportunities to make progress. This is the statement of a senior executive of LinkedIn. He says what really mattered in the network age: relationship. Relationship help you find opportunities, resources, make decisions more effectively, and manage a long-term investment and a lifetime career. So this is one observation. So my first humble submission to this honorable forum, the learned participant, would be to invest sometimes 5 to 10% of their time, layer time, in making good investment in the field of networking and relationship. And allow me to submit very strange thing. Life is nothing but relationship management. Life is nothing but relationship management. So relationship is just like Taj Mahal. Every day, everybody will wonder how beautiful it is, but nobody can understand how difficult it is to build that Taj Mahal. The next statement, the motivational quote, is to be conscious that you're ignorant is a great step to knowledge. And the statement of famous Ustad Awwal, the first known teacher in the civilized history of the globe, is Socrates. He says, and I quote, "I know one thing, that I do not know anything." So this is the humble beginning with which any learned person starts his or her life. So first thing, the second observation is stereotype thinking pattern of engineers. Some engineers, if not all, may have typical stereotype thinking, degree, internship leading to job seeking. So today I am going to address certain categories or types of thinking pattern. And before I mention those 5 or 6 thinking pattern, I will again quote this statement in front of you: change your thoughts and you change your word. Your word become wonderful, significant, positive, and is likely to give more reward if you start changing the pattern of your thinking. This is very strange comment. Apparently it seems fictional, not functional, but this is very much functional. If you have big thoughts, if you change your thoughts, so you build your life by changing your thoughts. So change your thought and you change your world. सोच बदली आपकी दुनिया में आएगी. So first pattern of change is thinking big. Mostly our technical managers, the young technical managers up till the age of 35, some of them, they think too small. I suggest them to think big. If you think big, you're going to be big. If you think small, you will remain small. So your thinking should be big enough, and you should have big dreams. There's a famous English statement: dream big dreams, nature have the funny way to come true. Dream big dream, nature have the funny ways to come true. The restaurant of a small well in a remote area of Pakistan, maybe one frog, maybe one spider, maybe one cockroach. They think the whole entire world is that well. We called it in Urdu kuein ke mendak. So the person with small thinking is nothing but a frog of any small well in a remote area of Pakistan or maybe world. So think big, you are going to be big. Think small and you will remain small.
Dr. Saab, I have to make one announcement.
You go ahead.
Gentlemen, I had requested earlier in a very simple words that your webcam should remain on. You have to appear. Those who have registered for CPD program, they have to appear live on their webcams. Kindly do not force me to make the announcements again and again. And if this practice continues, I will have to take action, sir. This is a PEC requirement. I cannot permit you to listen the lecture without appearing live on the webcam. Kindly cooperate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ji. We must respect the policies of PEC to qualify for that special point or numbers you get to enhance your registration. So I simply support the announcement of Engineer Sultan. So big thinking will lead you to big results. And there's a statement in Urdu that fikr mein doodh to manzil mein doodh. If you think small, your destination will also be small. And there's a famous statement or verse of very famous Urdu poet Asadullah Ghalib. I narrate in Urdu, then I will translate in English. Hasti ke fareeb mein mat aa jaiye asad. Hasti ke fareeb mein mat aa jaiye asad. Alam tamam halka-e dame khayal. He says we should not indulge in your own personality that I am superior and I am this and that. Rather, the word is what you think, the span and spectrum of your thought process. If your thought process is big enough, it will entail the big destination. And if it is small enough, it will give you small destination, small manzil, small goal. So big thinking, we call in Urdu, usat-e-fikr. So you should be having the big thinking in the young age. And then gradually we will devise the strategy and action plan to implement those big thinking. Third thing is focus, more focus. So in the young age, the engineers have one less positive thing, that is lack of focus. In Urdu, we called it vadat-e-fikr. Lack of focus means you are doing a couple of things simultaneously, concurrently, and not doing attention to one, thereby nullifying the chances of success of all of them. So take one or two priorities in your life and leverage all your potential towards that, and you are likely to get that chance. So lack of focus, in Urdu, I called it vadat-e-fikr ka fukdan, is third reason for young technical managers or engineers not to be successful. So I strongly encourage all of you to focus on one or two things. And if you are not successful, try to readdress the strategy, but you don't change the goal very often. In the young age, the engineers may have a couple of good ideas, but they don't know which one is work at first. That is the first thing, the lack of focus. They get confused by their own choices, jump from one idea to another very fast. And they keep on jumping, and they're spending hardly 1 week or 2 weeks, maximum 1 month, and they do not properly do homework to make that executable or actionable, and they keep on jumping from idea to idea in a very fast fashion. Each of the idea looks equally promising to them. They don't know how to concentrate on one idea at a time and take it a real success. In famous English statement, a bird in hand is better than two in bushes. So they focus more time on two in the bushes as opposed to one in hand, thereby making their success less productive and less fruitful. So they need to decide which idea is the most important for them. And they should pick one that they think they can give them most bang for your money. So once they decide that this idea is viable, economically viable, practical and functional and workable, then they should give 100% attention to that task. And then they move to the second idea in case first is completely done. At times it happens that because of certain global changes or international phenomena, for example, Corona, they have to stop work on one idea which is 60 or 80% mature. So they should add, in that case, they should place it on the back burner and try fresh idea which they can execute in the case of emergency. So plan B may be a good idea without compromising the attention on one good idea, that is focusing on weather the figure. So first thing was fursa the figure, and second is weather the figure. Then third is manfiyat soch, that is negative thinking. Negative thinking is the best enemy for young professional engineer. If you are a negative thinker or just a pessimistic person with pessimistic approach, then you are going to put up roadblocks to success before you can even try. So have positive thinking, see the glass as half full as opposed to half empty, and you are setting up for the success if you have positive approach in life. Work on becoming a positive thinker by surrounding yourself with positive people. And in Urdu, there's a famous statement, sobat-e-saleh jo hai, that makes the even a crow to next stage to become eagle. So work, sit in the company of positive thinker and think positive, act positive, and show positive attitude. Be aware of the self-talk conversation with you, in which you should always talk positive. Notice if your main conversation with others are ones where you dump all of your grievances on them. So आप कोशिश करें, try to see and find the ways to avoid sadist attitude, blaming attitude, negative attitude, or cannot do attitude. These four attitudes are major fundamental reason of failure in the life. If that is the balance of your conversation, negative to positive, then go to the positive. That is the third message, extension of third message, changing thoughts. The fourth thing is intensity of thought, that is shiddat-e-fikr. Shiddat-e-fikr means intensity of thought. It is not shiddat-pasandi or some extremism. It is consistency and what you call mustaqil mazaji and consistent approach in life. So fourth dimension of change of thought is shiddat-e-fikr, intensity of thinking. It means you should keep on working hard on one or two goals without losing the interest. That is the fourth dimension of change in your thoughts. And as I discussed earlier, that change your thoughts and you change your world. So when you intensified your thought process towards one or two topics, you are likely to achieve the results. If that is the balance, go for that balance. Fourth, and then fifth is hiddat-e-fikr. Hiddat-e-fikr means your thinking pattern should be dynamic enough to accommodate the new change pattern of your profession. For example, new trends in civil engineering. For example, new version of software. For example, use of Primavera in calculating the time cost and estimated material and resources required in for example. So dynamism of thought, in Urdu I call it hiddat-e-fikr, should be integral part of your change thought process. Then we have sixth dimension of change, that is concern for less fortunate. In Urdu I call it ihtiram-e-aadmiyat-e-fikr, that you should be concerned for less fortunate or marginalized people in your office, in your project, in your surroundings, to take care of your feelings and their emotions. That is also. If I become insensitive to the basic legitimate human needs of feelings and emotion of my team, that insensitivity would lead to one thing, that is disaster in the overall family culture of my organization. And this is the culture which gives strength to any organization. So focused on ihtiram-e-aadmiyat, concern for your team, their feelings, their emotion, and then you are likely to get positive reinforcement in your very culture of your organization. And remember, this is the culture which pays, the professional culture, the family culture, the culture of care, love, and respect. So focus on that. That is the Quran. Then sixth dimension of change is individuality of thoughts or uniqueness of thoughts. Infradiyat-e fikr, in Urdu I call it infradiyat-e fikr, in which my ideas should be unique, different, and it should have certain unique feature which make them more acceptable to the user in the marketplace. This is the sixth change in your thought, that is uniqueness of thought. The seventh is innovativeness in thinking. I call it Nudrat-e Fikr. So this model was devised and coined by myself over the last 10 years. I keep on thinking, I keep on adding more and more element of change of thought. And so far I made around 12 change in thought process, and I am today discussing 7 or 8 because of shortage of time, because I have to switch over to the topics as well. So next, the last topic would be Nudrat-e Fikr. It means innovative in thinking and processes. Last year, FBR was able to raise its revenue 34% more because of incorporation of innovation in their process of receiving and claiming for the taxes through automation. That is innovation of service and innovation of thought process. And this year again, FBR, today's budget, made projection of more money collection because of new innovative ideas. So for innovative ideas, Allama Iqbal quote in 2 famous verses, and I will translate in English at a second stage. First of all, for the Pakistani listener, I quote 2 ashar or verses of Allama Iqbal. Nudrat-e Fikr Amal, that is innovative thinking and innovative delivery. 8th dimension of change of thought. Innovative thinking and innovative delivery. Nudrat-e Fikr Amal kya shay hai zauq inqilab. Innovative thinking and innovative delivery is main reason of revolution in your life. That is a translation of first verse. Nudrat-e Fikr Amal kya shay hai millat ka shabab. The nations get new life, the young life, because of innovative thinking process. Nudrat-e Fikr Amal se sange khara la bana. All ordinary piece of stone is converted to precious jewels because of innovative thinking. In Taj Mahal, we have same size of stone which is available in Ajmer or in Afghanistan. But because of innovative architect and innovative delivery process, Taj Mahal become the 7th wonder of the world. Stones are the same. It is innovative design and innovative process of collection of stone from Ajmer and Afghanistan to that very place of India. And then the last verse of Allama Iqbal is Nudrat-e Fikr Amal se mozat is all miracle in life happens because of innovation. I'm ordinary mechanical engineer of you, still ordinary, I'm not extraordinary, because I made in my life innovation as an integral part in my teaching, in my delivery, in my training. So nature has rewarded me because of innovative thought process. In innovative thought process, you try to find out the solution of ordinary thing.
Some few participants are complaining that your voice is not very clear. So can you get little? At my end, it is okay, but there are certain listeners, participants, they are complaining. So can you get a little more close to the microphone, please?
Okay, I can do that. Thank you. Thanks for this support and comment. I am using very high, extra sensitive gadgetry to give my message. So I may be less louder. So in the last part of Allama Iqbal verses, Nudrat-e Fikr Amal se mozat is zindagi. All miracle in the life happens because of innovation. So try to incorporate element of innovation in your thought process, and this will prove to be a legitimate, fair shortcut in life. As I mentioned earlier, in my teaching, in my delivery, in my trainings, and in my social or personal or technical or professional life, I try to innovate the processes which are more user-friendly, which are more fast, which are more speedier, which are less costlier. So things become easier for any professional if he or she adopts the innovation in his or her life. That is the eighth dimension of change in your thought process. So I conclude my first part, that is, you change your world by changing your thinking. Think big and you're going to be big. Think small and you will remain small. So I am going to shift now to the next part, fourth part rather. They don't believe in themselves. Self-belief is the main reason. Weak self-belief or low self-belief is main reason for them not to make progress in life. I'm not saying failure, I'm saying less successful. Example of Mr. Tahir Sultan is sitting in front of you. He is, mashallah, our pride, and he made himself a strong, civil contractor of the country. He took the risk and he believed himself. And his self-belief made him more successful, thereby rendering him one of the best civil engineers of Pakistan. This was his self-belief. He was not Newton or Einstein. Self-belief, power of self-belief is much more than IQ level or EQ level. This is your composed behavior. This is your self-belief. Yes, I can and I shall. So with self-belief, we will remain there after 30 years where we started our job. So self-belief is a weapon of mass construction. It is a lever which lifts your life beyond imagination. So start believing on yourself. You see this in this slide. When a cat with the self-belief sees in the mirror, she sees the face of a lion. So start believing on yourself and start recognizing yourself. This is the statement of famous boxer, the world champion Muhammad Ali. He stated that believe in yourself. This was his message. I was saying I'm the greatest long before I believed. A famous statement in 1970s. So start believing you can and you will. You will if you use right word. If you use right instrument and choose right time, that is believe you can and you will. It's all in your mind. Winning comes from within. Fatah andar se aati hai. It is not your aptitude, but your attitude. It is not your zehni or fitri milan, ye aapka ravaiya will determine your altitude in life. Jo aapki tarakki aur rifton ka zaman hai. Happiness is simply a result of choosing attitude. Positive attitude means happiness. Negative attitude means bughz, hasad, and kina, jealousy and envy. So try to be more focused on your life, on positive attitude, which will lead you to the highest level of altitude in life. And happiness is simply a result of choosing attitudes. Progress has always come from those who said it could be done. That shows their self-confidence. And this is a famous statement of Tony Robbins. What he says, what we can or cannot do, or what we can or cannot do, and what we consider possible or impossible is rarely a function of your true capability, capacity, or strength. It's more likely a function of our belief about who we are. कि हम क्या है, हमारे एतकादात और हमारे self belief का शाखसान है possibility. This was a statement of Tony Robbins, the famous motivational speaker of the globe. So what you can do in the self-belief, realize that you and only you can make your dreams come true. That you need to realize. Otherwise, life becomes more difficult if you don't realize your own potential, the hidden potential. No one is going to drive you in your journey to success. Do not focus on your failures. Try to learn lessons from the failure, learn from it, and use to learn to improve your performance. Focus on small wins, incremental wins, small wins and incremental. And small yourself with well-wishers and positive thinkers who will make you more confident and give you more self-assurance. With confidence and self-assurance and with more self-belief, you are likely to get more success. Next is fifth or sixth reason of genius not being so successful is they have less clear vision. I have seen the graduates of UET in the last 35 years who are more successful, starting from Kamaluddin to Tipu to Chairman Engineering Council, Dr. Engineer Javed Qureshi and Arif Sheikh and Engineer Sultan. They may not be MS or PhD, but they are more successful because they have the very clear vision about their profession and their life. So most important requirement to become successful is your clear vision of the future. Without vision, engineers float like a aimless boat, do not know what they want to achieve. They want to be successful, but do not know what success really means for them. They are even unable to define success. And success is not a one big villa in the defense, Lahore or Karachi or Peshawar, and one Fortuner or Prado. That is the artificial manifestation of success. Success is peace of mind, achievement of your end objective, and certain level of achievement of goal. So what really means for them, they need to define. What you can do for defining your vision is, first of all, figure out what exactly you want to achieve in your life. Aapne zindagi mein kya hasil karna hai? Why you want to achieve it. And once you exactly define that, then do whatever you can do, go to all extent possible for the achievement of that. And I have seen the people for achievement of their vision, they work not only 9 to 5, 9 to 9 rather, and in most cases 7 or 6 days a week. They have no apparently family life or work life balance, rather they are genuine and they are the crazy and they work like mad people. The seventh reason of less success for the engineers is they lack commitment. So we need to have long-term goals, which is a basic requirement. And for that, the prerequisite a great deal of commitment. No goal could be achieved without commitment. Mojaza fan ki hai, khoon jigar se namut. Mojaza fan ki hai, khoon jigar se namut. So engineers dream big, I have seen them, but not ready to put in the required effort to achieve their dreams. It needs a lot of sweat and blood before they translate Rama into real in certain. They might be feeling. So I recall a famous verse of Allama Iqbal. He says, and I quote, "Jahan mein ahle iman surat khurshid jeete, jahan mein ahle iman surat khurshid jeete hain, idhar dube udhar nikle, udhar dube." In English, I want to make a quick translation. The person with big faith, they keep on struggling in life. Someday they fall and someday they rise, but they keep on struggling. So make up your mind to adhere to your commitment, irrespective of all difficulties, hurdle, burden, and problem you might be facing. Eighth thing is, the engineers who are less successful in life, I have observed, they have low self-motivation. Self-motivation means they have low level of intrinsic motivation, which compels them, which propels them to move their comfortable life. And they absolutely have no idea how to motivate themselves. Their parents are not there to encourage them, to give them power of hope, to give them confidence. And they are sitting with the people of negative people. And with negative company, they keep on demoralizing every day. They keep on demotivating every day. So when things go wrong, they drop their plans. So high level of motivation is prerequisite for achieving the higher level of results. And motivation, as we discussed later in the later part of our lecture, motivation is a compelling or propelling force which will change your direction, which gives you the true dimension and also change your behavior for achievement. And you leave the comfort zone and enter to the challenge zone for the achievement of end results. So they always dependent on someone else to pick them up when they fall. We are low self-motivated when they keep on waiting for some Shazar or a youth to help them or guide them for their destination. And when extrinsic motivation is gone, they lose their interest in whatever they want to do. There are three categories of motivation. Allow me to clarify for 1 minute only. The first category of motivation is extrinsic motivation. In extrinsic motivation, you work only for the achievement of certain goals, for the lust of money, status, rank, or degree. And when these are not visible, you lost interest. And the second scenario, second area of dimension of motivation is absence of motivation. We called it amotivation, absence of motivation. You work or don't work, you get paid. So people have least incentive to work hard. So absence of motivation is a very prevalent in South Asian culture, Pakistani culture, and people don't work because of this second category of motivation. The third category of motivation is called intrinsic motivation or self-motivation. And that desire to excel comes from inside, from your heart, and it is being manifested outside your personality or outside your image or character. So intrinsic motivation is prerequisite for success. And if some engineer lack that self-motivation, the other name is intrinsic motivation, so he is less likely to rise. It is not the money, it is not the degree, it is not the size of your investment, it is not the place you are living, it is not the person with whom you are marrying, it is not the money you are getting inheritance from your parents. These things become immaterial. The main core issue which is propelling your life, which is compelling you to work hard, is intrinsic motivation. Keep on investing on the intrinsic motivation. And the difference between first word and third word is not they consume more electricity, rather they have more people with more intrinsic motivation. So they work extra hard and the organizations flourish, so country flourish, and they become first word. So I encourage you to keep on investing and learning more dimensions of self-motivation. On YouTube, my lectures on ways and techniques to enhance your self-motivations are available free of cost. You can consult my lecture on the YouTube, Dr. Sajid, if you want to learn more on self-motivation. I spent 8 years in USA, first 4 years with very meager scholarship and remaining 4 years without scholarship, without any aid and without any work permit in USA. It was my self-motivation which keep on pushing me to work extra hard and try to find the innovative ways to survive legally and legitimately and finish my PhD from Washington, DC. So if you called me, for example, a success, which is to some extent academic success, the main reason behind is not my intellect, rather my self-motivation, enhanced level of self-motivation. So self-motivations help you to keep moving without any engine. Your internal engine, the energy from your thoughts, keep on moving your attitude and body and your brain. So keep feeding positive ideas in your mind so that you remain positively self-motivated. That is the message so far. For that matter, I suggest you for self-motivation, there are a couple of tips for engineers. Understand that it is your life goal which you want to achieve, and you need to motivate yourself to achieve it. No one is going to spend their time to give you the pep talk all the time. हर वक्त आपको अली साजिद या कासिम शाह की pep talk या motivation talk नहीं मिलेगी. आप खुद ही टकरे मारेंगे. You need to struggle yourself. You need to motivate yourself through your thought process. If you are not motivated, then you have wrong reasons behind your desire to be successful. Go back and define why you want to achieve and what you want to achieve. Then you have to lower down your standards. You have to lower down your final destination, or you need to redefine your success and journey both. Ninth reason of engineers for being less successful is they don't know how to start. डोर का सिरा कैसे पकड़ना, तो सुलझा रहा हूँ डोर को लेकिन सिरा मिलता नहीं, और फलसफी को बहस में खुदा लेकिन मिलता नहीं. So they are not clear from where to start. What is the starting point? So engineer might have many ideas, but how to translate those ideas into ground realities, that is the core job. How to start, where to start, and when to start, and how much money to invest, business plan, pre-feasibility, these kind of stuff. There are apparently less mentors who have started their life without mentors. Most people, I have seen people from NASPAC leaving the good salaries and start taking risk to materialize their ideas, civil engineers to materialize their ideas, and they become the biggest contractor of Pakistan because they entered to the challenge zone and they left the comfort zone. When you decide to leave the comfort zone, nature starts forcing all particles of universe to support you. Nature orders all particles in the universe to support you because you have left the challenge zone and you are opting to the, you have left the comfort zone and you are opting for the challenge zone. So Allah sab kainat ke zarron ko hukum de deta hai ki iski madad karo. Someone you find a stranger, his name is Haji Ishaq or Malik Mushtaq, your neighbors, and nature starts sending Hazrat Khidr alayhi salam in the form of Malik Mushtaq, who gives you more courage, motivation, haussla, courage, and guides you. So these kind of Khidr alayhi salam you find in every second street when you are disappointed. Nature helps you when you leave your comfort zone. So I encourage all young professionals who don't know how to start, take the first step in good faith. Remember, take the first step in good faith, and nature will automatically give you sufficient light, energy, resources, material backup, and guidance through strangers. First, take the, your job is to take the first step in good faith. In certain cases, our young professional engineers do not know where to begin, whom to approach, how to proceed to get a start. Their ideas die within their brain without ever seeing a single ray of daylight. So I strongly encourage them to seek the advice from or seek the pattern of success from the successful people. Every success may have thousands of failure, so do not lose heart from the failure. Failure are not failure as long as you are trying. I repeat my statement. Failures are not failure as long as you are trying. You are only failure when you stop trying. This is very common philosophy, people lose heart. But I take failure as a one step towards success, always. 10th reason of less successful professional engineers or young engineers, they have not established their goal. Plan without deadlines are not goal, and plans with deadlines are goal. So they don't establish goals, and if they establish goals, they do not make deadlines, and they keep on struggling aimlessly. They keep on struggling aimlessly without having the clear idea how to go, where to go, with whom I should seek assistance, and these kind of stuff. They plan nothing. They believe that someone, some way, will come and give them money and lift them up. So hoping that it will automatically happen, magically appear. It does not work like this. You need to set goals and go for it. If you are not a big planner and not a big list maker, it's okay. Make small goals, go step by step, gradually, incrementally, and eat one elephant one bite at a time. Remember this statement. Each one, you can eat one elephant alone. It's not a hypothetical statement. You can eat one elephant provided you keep on eating one bite at a time. And if you try to swallow one chicken, small chicken, you may not be able to do that. So go incrementally, go step by step, go gradually, but at the reach, and you will be likely to get success. 11th reason of less professionalism in our young engineers, which leads to them for being less successful, they do not persevere. I recall the statement of Professor Iqbal, and I will translate in English. Amal Paham is consistent service delivery, perseverance. Success takes years of struggle to achieve. Many people have passion, but not persistent in their approach. Sabit Kadmi, Mustaqil Mazaji, they lack that consistency and self-confidence to achieve is visibly and conspicuously missing in their attitude. So they do not have persistence in their approach. They have sight of difficulties which make them to drop their enthusiasm. उनका जुनून और जज्बा और जोश मुश्किलात को सामने देखते हुए पीछे हट जाता है. And without perseverance, no one can accomplish any meaningful success. So what should be the action strategy for them? I'm trying to give some solutions, if not full, but partly or partially, I'm trying to give solutions to young professionals. If I do not have perseverance, I do not have to make any progress in my life. So in order to qualify for success, you need to have a visa or license for a perseverance. When you have a vision, you will have to give everything you can do to make yourself succeed. Be ready to face several challenges on daily, quarterly, weekly basis. Surprises, not pleasant surprises, painful surprises during your journey towards success. Hold your grounds and keep trying your options to overall difficulties and never give up. So this was the message, 11th message. Keep on struggling hard. Now I recall again the famous verse or share of Hazrat Allama Iqbal, who is a motivational poet of East. He says, and I quote in Urdu, then I will translate in English for the viewers across the globe. वही है साहिब इमरोज अब जिसने अपनी हिम्मत से वही है साहिब इमरोज जिसने अपनी हिम्मत से ज़माने के समुंदर से निकाला गोहरे फरदा. Sahib Imroz means leader of the day. He or she is the leader of the day, who by dint of his hard work and perseverance, trying hard to find the pearl and expensive jewels from the bottom of the oceans. So perseverance is key to success. कुछ हाथ नहीं आता बेआहे सरगाह. 12th reason of less success for the professional engineers, they give up too easily. हल्का सा झटका पड़ा होगा हिम्मत हार जाते. They lose interest and confidence and courage very easily. We all have these moments in our life when we can just throw everything out the window. Feeling may last day or weeks. Success does not come easily. It is part of the journey. Just things are not going your way right now doesn't mean that you should give up or lose hope and spoil or damage your dreams. Dream big dreams, and nature has the funny way to come true. Take the baby steps, incremental steps. Baby step, and baby step. This is the message under this heading. And remember, everybody in most part of his or her life face difficulties. It doesn't mean that you lose hope. You lose hope. So my message to all of you is, do not give up. when you face difficulties. ये तो चलती है तुझे ऊंचा उड़ाने के लिए, ये तो चलती है तुझे ऊंचा उड़ाने के लिए, तुम तो ये बात मुखालिफ से ना घबराए. You should not give up the message to the eagle by the windy air in the skies. It helps you to move further up in the skies. This is a translation of this verse. 13th point or 12th point, I don't know. 13th point is lack of persistence. साबित करने की यदि मौजूदगी. Some points are overlapping, but their meanings are different. Some engineers lack persistence when it comes to achieving their goals and pursuing their dreams. नौकरी कर लो भाई, जान छुड़ाओ, ये तो बड़ी सख्त जिंदगी है. They opted to work under some fixed salary regime, and they are willing to compromise their big dreams. So on the third time I repeat my statement: dream big dreams, nature has the funny way to come true. Dream big dreams, nature has the funny way. बड़ी बड़ी ख्वाबें देखें, कुदरत का एक निज़ाम है, उनको शर्मिंदा ताबीर करेगा, provided you keep on struggling hard, you show your perseverance, you are persistent, and you have 8 categories of change thoughts in your mind. Change your thoughts and change your world. They don't work, these engineers who lack persistence, they don't work for the solution. Instead, they find excuses to justify their failures. This is a strange thing. They are more interested in finding the excuses for their failure as opposed to finding the solution for being successful. That is the drawback. That is the less positive aspect in their life. So I have seen many engineers of UET and King Edward Medical College with my badge. Oh, excuse me. They reach to their peak, including Hassan Iqbal, who is presently third time chairing member, deputy chairman, planning commission. He is also persistent. Or Sabit Kadam. I worked with him 20 years ago in planning commission, and I found that he works 7 days a week, 9 to 9, maybe 8 to 9. So Sabit Kadam Log, he's mechanical engineer from UT, and he's done his MBA from USA. He was not easily distracted by something else. So there's a term for people who easily give up. And that term you see on the view file at the bottom line, shiny object syndrome. They find something more shiny, more appealing, more attractive, and they lose the sight of their existing project, and they lose the focus and shift randomly, immediately towards that shiny object. So this disease is called shiny object syndrome. And people who lack persistence, they are the victim of this disease. Try to avoid this disease. This is detrimental, this is dangerous, and it will damage your professional reputation and professional image. So there is a certain solutions for the person who is facing the disease of lack of persistence. When you pursue a goal, solution is to build a successful blog, for example. After a couple of days of hard work, you encounter an opportunity to become a partner for another product. So jump on opportunity because maintaining old relationship is difficult. So you keep on trying purposelessly. Either jump kar diya, udhar jump kar diya. Nayi opportunity dekhi without homework, udhar jump kar diya. So this jumping from point A to B without disregarding the consequences and likely results and difficulty in the journey, these 3 things go analyze kiye bagar. In the absence of analysis of these 3 things, you may not be successful or less successful. So lack of persistence was the 13th point, which I would love to or like to submit to this honorable forum. Procrastination is a famous Urdu poem of Munir Niazi. हमेशा देर कर देता हूँ उसको बुलाने में. आप सबने सुनी होगी मुनीर नियाजी के नाम. You might have heard the famous poem of Munir Niazi, the Urdu poet of Lahore, previously from the Mia Wali. He says, I always make it delay and I lose my friends, my relatives, and my destination because of procrastination. Now, I have found in engineers and technical managers, especially the young ones who are less successful, that they are chronic procrastinators. For them, everything can be done later. Kal achhi kal hoga, and that tomorrow never comes. That tomorrow never comes. But that later remains later. Spending time on layerly activities takes priority. चस्के वाली और मजेदार activities, खाना, barbecue, cricket match, and langar gap with the friends, they give them priorities. They are more social, more active, they spend more time on social media and layerly activities, and they delay the top priority things which need to be done today. So that delay, they delay completion of a task to that extent that it becomes a bigger problem. The minor problem becomes the major problem because of constant delay and avoidance of doing that. So it no longer matters whether they do it or not. So that becomes the least priority. Procrastination is the biggest disease in young generation, the young technical managers. And I strongly encourage you to see how to avoid it. And it's easy to take the one bitter pill tonight as opposed to taking 5 bitter pills 3 or 4 days after that. So just in time delivery kills the concept of procrastination. So what you can do to avoid procrastination, that is another question. And in the time management, this is one of the biggest issue. Understand, first of all, you need to understand why you are indulging in this negative habit. Person too lazy or task seems too big. Either I am so lazy or task which is going to be delivered by myself or going to be completed by myself is too big. So that is the two reasons. If the task is too big, slice it into smaller components, smaller chunks or smaller slices of work. These each pieces at a time could be addressed one by one and you can complete it. That is the first strategy. And sometimes picking up too many unrelated tasks stops you from completing any of them. So take one bite at a time and you can eat the entire elephant. In such cases, remove all distraction that divert your attention. First, the biggest distraction in your hand is your mobile. Keep it off, put it off, and place it somewhere else because that is also addiction to waste your time and causes a lot of procrastination and divert your attention. So your biggest enemy is spending 30 minutes or more than that time is main reason on the cell is main reason of procrastination. 14th reason of delay, not delay, but less successful professional engineer is they do not delegate and even they don't know how to delegate. Delegation and empowerment is used interchangeably in the management arena. Delegation is much more open than devolution of authority. You are still responsible if you delegate and you are still responsible the consequences of delegation. So people are reluctant to delegate because there are trust issues. They cannot assign work to someone, trust them to do it correctly. They try to do even the smallest of tasks to themselves. With that, they burn out and have no energy left to do the intellectual work, planning work, or making strategy or making strategic plan or to become or matter which are related to their success. So at that time, what you can do, if you have a big target to achieve, which everybody has a big target in their life, and without making big target or big goals in life to achieve, we may not be able to succeed in the real terms. So for that matter, you will have an equally large number of tasks to complete, but you do not have to do everything on your own. Try to delegate, And while delegation, remember that thing, you are still responsible for the consequences. You are still answerable for the ways the person you delegated. You need to define the extent of delegation. You need to define the mechanism of delegation. And you need to train the person who is being delegated the power or authority. And everything should be documented on paper to avoid ambiguity and inconvenience. Otherwise, delegation may prove counterproductive. It is a double-edged weapon. Remember, delegation is a double-edged weapon. If you do not delegate in a proper, systematic, professional manner, it may bounce back to you and spoil the very much credibility of your professional organization or yourself. This is the reason people are reluctant to delegate. And if you do not delegate, you do not have time for the future expansion plan. So my humble submission is to create a balance and find out the decent mechanism for the delegation in your respective departments. And this is now, it's not a real rocket science, but it requires a lot of attention from the big bosses, from the professional engineers. This is the 14th point. As your business grows, you need to prioritize the job you take up. Do tasks that need your most attention. Leave rest of tasks to other person. Understand that you cannot be an expert in every area. Hire people good at specific subject matter. Trust them to do their best. And before trusting them, try their capacity and capabilities and expertise. Do not delegate randomly to a new person. Test him, check him, and train him, then delegate him, and define the extent of delegation. As I mentioned earlier, delegation is a two-edged weapon. It could be counterproductive to the very existence of the organization. It can kill the existence of the organization because breach of trust is common norm in South Asian culture, breach of trust. 15th point, overthinking everything. They do not take abrupt decision. They think, but they overthink. And overthinking kills the very positive spirit of plan. And after a certain stage, overthinking spoils the very good part of plan into negative part of plan, overthinking. So this is very strange thing I am trying to pinpoint, and people do not agree in most cases. I repeat, do not overthink when you make a plan. Give a second or third review and then finalize. And it will keep on evolving as it will proceed further. So the less successful people spend a lot of time thinking about what if scenario. We know dollar is going down. We know fuel is going up. Rupee is going down and fuel is going up. So we can make what if scenario for the dollar, for example, up till $230 is the worst scenario. And fuel in our calculation, up till 260 rupees per liter. But we should not think that 500 में या 1000 रुपए liter हो जाएगा. No. So try to avoid extreme what if scenarios. Basic what if scenarios are very much essential for planning part for any engineer. In dollar, in fuel cost, in rupee depreciation, in stock market, or in cost of import of technology and so forth, which may have impact on the project cost. Yet overthinking may have a detrimental impact on the overall delivery of the project. So don't see the uniqueness in other ideas, and hence you keep on twiddling if it is keep on under discussion for hours and hours and days and weeks and weeks. Having a plan is essential for you for any project, but too much planning without any real action is a short plan or path to failure. So try to avoid that failure. So now what you can do to avoid overthinking, this is some suggested solution. Ideas do not come out fully formed. they only become clear as they keep on evolving, number one, and you work on them, number two. They show the real time. They are being tested in the real time environment. So you just have to get started. This is a statement of founder of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, that ideas only become clear as you work on them. You just have to get started. Or there's a famous statement of Martin Luther King, take the first step in good faith. You don't have to see the entire staircase. You don't have to see the entire staircase. Take the first step. And no plan is perfect. Do not worry about the end. When you have to start it, you have not started yet. You cannot plan everything from the beginning. No idea what challenges will face our path to success in the beginning. You don't have any idea. So get your plans to work, learn that, and improve from everyday experiences as you move forward and as you make certain progresses. Now, I recall a famous Urdu sher, which I will translate into English. इरादे बांधता हूँ, सोचता हूँ, तोड़ देता हूँ. This is about overthinking. इरादे बांधता हूँ, सोचता हूँ, तोड़ देता हूँ. कहीं ऐसा ना हो जाए, कहीं वैसा ना हो जाए. I keep on making ideas, then plan and then finalize. Then I again break those plans, that it may end up in a futile, it may end up into failure. This is a translation of that verse of Urdu. Next is very little patience. That is the 15th point of failure in the technical managers and engineers. They have less patience. And there's a famous share of Mirza Asadullah Ghalib in Urdu. Ashki sabr talab tamanna betab. Ashki sabr talab tamanna betab. That love is very eager and very impatient. But you want to find your final destination in a very speedy manner. So a person with less patience may not be very successful. You need to go incrementally, step by step, in slow fashion. Success needs a lot of patience, but some engineers always want instant gratification, faury result. कहते हैं कुन को और हो जाए दुनिया में. Allah Ta'ala ने, the nature Allah Ta'ala, when decided to make this universe, as per the verses of Quran Pak, it took 6 days to shape up the universe. And still, in every day you see the new universes are, new galaxies are coming and shaping up and reshaping and breaking and making. So you need to have a patience. It does not take much of these engineers, young engineers especially, to lose hope. They immediately lose hope because they want instant gratification and they get demotivated if outcome of plans deviates from their expectations. When the results are not coming as per the expectations, so they lost interest and they get demotivated. So at that time, what you should do or what you can do? Now, a couple of solutions for them when we have less patience. First thing is, failure is an inevitable part of being successful. Realize everybody fails many times before. I give the example of Edison. He invented bulb and he made experiment and he remained failure and unsuccessful 999 times. Around 1,000 times he remained failure, but he remained patient. So he said, I was not unsuccessful. I was not failure. I invented the bulb and I knew and I discovered 1,000 times how to make yourself successful. 1,000 steps how to make yourself successful. तो फेलियर को उसने स्टेप्स का नाम दिया. He gave the failure as a success for as a steps for success. Realize, fail many times before you can taste sweetness of success. Use your failure as a learning experience, not as a step to demotivate yourself. Rather, from today onward, I suggest you to consider it as a learning experience as opposed to failure. They will teach you valuable lessons about life and work. 16th reasons of a less professional approach for the young technical managers and engineers. They feel entitled. They think that this is their basic legitimate right, happiness and success on the very first day. So those young engineers think that most talented and charismatic person on earth, they will think themselves as the most charismatic and talented personality on earth. So they believe world owes them their success. Their self-entitlement blinds them there, and they start daydreaming about achieving success in a very short span of time. Everybody is not Mark Zuckerberg, who got $3 billion at the age of 30 years, in 6 years. It happens once in a life among hundreds of millions of people. So they try to create unrealistic expectation in their mind. Which, when not substantiated, give rise to resentment and disappointment and dismantling of their hope and demotivation and demoralization. So that is a drawback, that is a negative capacity or phenomena prevailing in young professionals. So what is the solution when they feel entitled? That's the 16th point. They should understand words owes them nothing. दुनिया से उनको किसी किस्म की तलब नहीं होनी चाहिए कि दुनिया उनको मदद करे. No one is going to serve you your success as a partner and give you success on a platter. You need to work hard to get whatever you want to achieve. Understand world owes you nothing. Remember, you are not entitled to anything without struggle, without patience. And words owes you nothing. Moza fun ki hai, khoon jigar se nameet. 17th point, they need others' validation. They need certificate of goodness from some superior, their friends, because they lack confidence. That is the 17th weakness of professional engineers, which renders them less successful. And that 17th point is they need others' validation. दूसरों से तस्दीक मोरे तस्दीक सबत कराते हैं. They are never happy with their own work. They need someone else to validate their work and certified to be worthy of delivery, and they need certain level of certification of quality, productivity, and standardization from some high-tech professional. For example, if 10% appreciate you, but one does not like your idea, you immediately get demotivated. So what you should do then, if you need others' validation, you are working on their definition of strength. You should have your own definition of success, not their definition. अपनी दुनिया आप पैदा कर अगर जिंदों में, the famous share of Iqbal. You should build your own world if you are among the live creature of universe. If you will deviate it, this approach, that is validation from the other, will help you, will destroy you, or to deviate from making you your own vision to a real-time reality. The biggest obstacle in your vision to become reality is your desire to get validation from third party. And that could be a counterproductive component in your life. So if you truly believe in your vision, then put all your efforts into making it a success, even when no one else sees value in it. Self-belief and confidence would, of course, play a bigger role. and good to validate plans once in a while to ensure not missing something. Occasionally, you may consult some professional to validate your basic concepts, but on every step, validation may not be a very wise idea to keep in your life. But do not allow someone to define whatever success you should be having and you should look like. If you truly believe in your vision, put all your effort into making it a success, even when no one else is validating, certifying, or even value that. Have perfect. Next is, give me 1 minute. Next point, 18th point, is they have the excuses for everything. And they try to take shelter behind those excuses. This is 18th point for failure of young professional engineers. They have perfect excuses for every scenario, for every case, for every failure. They have excuses for why not able to start or complete a new project. And they have hundreds or dozens of bunch of excuses for their failure. And nothing is ever their fault. What you can do in that case. So to me, excuses should best persons that's making no one really cares why you cannot be successful. So excuses help someone who is using them to his or her own advantage. Other persons are not concerned what excuses you are making. So there's no need for excuses. Only person you can fool is with your justification is yourself. That is you, you and you. Do not waste your time pondering over what made you fail. Focus on now what you can avoid and make your projects or life more successful. That is a one possible solution. People are not concerned about what mistakes you are making, but try to avoid that mistake. Try to take lesson from those failures. 18th point, too proud to ask for help. Too proud to ask for help. Now, at times, you are starting a business and you are unclear about the fundamental things. And literature or relevant books are not available because that is an innovative idea, new idea. And you may know a couple of high-tech professionals who have been venturing out these kind of projects in the past, but you are too arrogant and too proud to seek suggestion how to start and where to start. So their prides get hurt easily when they cannot do a task. Such engineers imagine themselves as a more superior human being. ये हस्ती के फ्रेम में आ जाते हैं. They are entangled into the trap of their own ego and personality. हस्ती के फ्रेम में मत आ जाइयो असद. So they consider themselves as a more superior human being and they feel seeking help and accepting other may spoil their professional image. They prefer task rather than someone else lend to hand to them. उनसे कोई मदद करे. So this is a very strange phenomena, and this is just at times ego issue as well, and that may end up in a complete disaster of a new innovative project. So what is the solution? Now there's a famous statement of Henry Ford. He says, a man given to pride is usually proud of the wrong things. The statement of Henry Ford, the founder of Ford Motor Company, the most successful industrial venture in the history of mankind. You cannot be best in everything in the world. You need a lot of support from people who know better than you, bigger than your dream is. So you need to seek help. You need to get some assistance, intellectual assistance, professional assistance, technical assistance from your colleague, subordinate, or friends. 20th part of reasons why our technical managers or young professional engineers are not very successful in their professional life. These are all those points are from my life experience. You have the right to disagree, and after 5 minutes, we will be taking 15 minutes Q&A session, question answer session, and I would love to respond your questions based upon your experience pertaining to my today's discussion. So they are afraid to stand up. Extreme behavior of self-sabotaging for engineers. This is self-destructive mechanism for engineers. Such person value others' opinion too much. Not comfortable being different from the rest. Afraid of people's judgment. Zamana kya kahega? Log kya kahenge? What you can do in this scenario when you are afraid of, when you lack confidence. It's a self-destructing mechanism. I repeat, this is a self-destructing mechanism that you are trying to stand out. Such persons values other opinion too much and not comfortable being different from the rest. And they are afraid of people's judgment, technical judgment of the senior engineers. So now what you can do? For incredible success, you need to do different things and different from the others. Different things and different from the others. Unique things and unique from the others. You will have to stand out from the crowds. हजूम से हट के आप एक नई रवायत को जन्म दे सकते हैं. You can establish new traditions which is far different from the conventional stereotype approach. Be comfortable for being different from the rest of the world. People might think you are weird or crazy. They think you are a genuine or pagal. Don't worry about that, as you have no control over what people say. And have confidence and trust on God, and nature will try to find the ways to assist you, facilitate you, help you, guide you. एक दुनिया का असूल है, एक नेचर का तरीका वारदात है कि आप इस कदर जब रमायण ना करें या करें तो उसकी क्या उसके prerequisites हैं. Next is, give me 1 minute. Slides. 21st disease or syndrome or whatever you call it, which causes engineers to deviate from their manzil or their direction or achievement of end objective is they lack humility. They do not possess the requisite humbleness, which is a prerequisite for success in life. They talk loudly and they claim big claims which they don't have. These engineers have less, yet they talk more. They accomplish slightest success and they start talking biggest about that. They declared self-proclaimed expert. They become self-proclaimed expert. And they start teaching people on how to be successful. All this makes them lose sight of their own growth. So what you can do in that case? Always stay grounded to your reality. Humbleness, share your success stories with others with intention to help them learn from your mistakes, not to show yourself as a strong, arrogant, and proud person. It is all right to enjoy the achievement and pride on success, but do not forget that success is a journey, not a destination. It is a long-term, unending journey. It is not a final destination. 22nd and last things before we say goodbye. मेरे पास लंबी list है 30-40 की. Now time is short. They don't know how to say no. They are so courteous, caring, and loving, So they keep on surrendering their head and bow their head on anything, and they cannot do justice with anything. And they even lose the sight of their own professional obligations by saying, by not saying no to anything, everything. So these engineers have boundary issues. They allow everyone to join or cross their boundaries. So politely declining others like, and they consider if they decline someone else, it is like climbing mountains with bare feet. They cannot say no to any request, even if they conflict with their own priorities. They at times compromise their own professional obligations while just discharging their help for someone else, thereby compromising their own nature of job or meeting the deadlines. Ultimately, they end up doing things and which takes up their times and leaves them exhausted and overheated. Now, what is the solution? It's only by saying no what you can concentrate on the things that really matters. So focus on your own thing first and don't try to compromise, else you won't be able to reach your destination as you are too much entangled to help the other person around you at the expense of your own energy, resources, time, and manpower. So I have only 15 minutes left. So before that, I start my Q&A session. This is the last 1 minute I will take. 23rd point, have a victim mentality. वो अपने आप को मजलूम समझते, they are always trying to show themselves as a weak and victim of the society, and they are mentally weak, do not have, and they are in the habit of claiming them, blaming the others and claiming themselves they are the victim of others. It is not, it is never their fault. Whole world conspiring against them. This is the characteristics of these two people. They strongly believe people want them to fail, and time is consumed, their own time is consumed for blaming others. These engineers never learn from their mistakes. What you can do? Success requires a lot of energy, patience to overcome roadblocks in path to achieve it. Having a positive attitude helps in getting through these trying times. So think positive, do positive, act positive, and have a positive attitude. With this, I try to finish my today's discussion. House is open for the questions. Thank you very much for remaining patient and giving me this opportunity to share some stray thoughts with you. The house is open for the questions. Mr. Tahir, Engineer Tahir, kindly facilitate.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sajid. It was a long lecture with minute details, and I really appreciate that you have rightly pointed out all the shortcomings that we engineers have, and we need something to do to rectify all the shortcomings that you have pointed out. Now I can see the hand raised by Afzal Toor. So Toor Sahab, please go ahead and ask your question. Kindly go ahead.
Thank you very much. It's for a good lecture. But I just want to thanks and say that engineers का जो role है वो उर्दू के शेर इन्होंने पढ़े हैं माशाल्लाह बड़े अच्छे हैं. मैं भी कहता हूँ इंजीनियर है, झुके तो चांद चले तो हवाओं जैसा है, ये वो शख्स है जो धूप में छांव जैसा है. तो इंजीनियर्स का रोल तो ऐसा ही है जैसा मैंने अर्ज किया. लेकिन what I have felt during my whole service, we engineers mostly have lack of coordination with the engineers and helping attitude towards colleague. But I observe we found involved in leg pulling of each other. One experience I met with civil servants of CSP officer. I introduced myself when I joined the service. We are colleagues, and you are also a 17th grade officer and government servant, and I'm also the government servant. He very arrogantly replied Mr. Toor, we are the government and you are the government servant. So in service, we feel like that, or definitely youngsters to have learned more from this lecture. And it's a good thing and good achievement. I appreciate your effort, Mr. Tahir. You have managed so much. You are managing technical lectures, and this lecture will have its own importance towards youngsters. Thank you very much.
Dr. Saab, if you have anything to respond, please go ahead.
The observations are very rightfully expressed by our gentleman colleague, and these kind of arrogance is main reasons of blockade international progress and prosperity in the bureaucracy. I hope one day the real change will come and we will be able to change their thinking process. I have given the 8 ways to change your thoughts for the engineers. And fortunately, I am also training these bureaucrats on the various platforms. I try to knock, but my 3 or 4 hours lecture do not change their attitude, behavior, or working style. This is last 75 years, we are the victim. This country is victim of their behavior and attitude. This is the maximum I can say.
Tahir Saab, there is something related to that I want to say.
Yes, I could see from your face, Tipu, that you were becoming active on the camera and mic. So you wanted to say something. Just a minute, Tipu.
It relates to whatever has been said. That's why I was saying.
No, I'm giving you the chance. I'm just a minute. Afzal Saab, if you don't have any further question, please lower your hand. Otherwise, it creates a confusion in my mind that you still have to ask. Thank you. Go ahead, Tipu.
Okay, thank you very much, Tahir Saab. This was a very, I think, very informative, very motivating, very perceptive lecture by Ali Sajid. So I think this is second of series. And these kind of lectures are very important. And he has very, if we're talking about what skills are required and what is the deficiencies of engineers, he has rightly pointed out, and it was on spot, everything he said. Since I moved from an engineering profession to civil service, I know what are the handicaps, drawbacks, weaknesses of engineers. And one of the things which I saw is they are lacking a lot in the soft skills, which Ali Sajid has started with the relationships things. And then of course, in the power structure, some of the nation building departments, they are not on the top, but still when some person is professional, I think it shows. And one of the aspects is that is in training. The only difference, because Afzal was rightly pointing 17 grade, there are 17 grades in so many departments, but assistant commission is also 17 grade. Then SHO is not even 17 grade. So the power structure is something else. The grades, BPS, something else. It's a recent invention, BPS. So we should not go into the equivalence things, we are equivalent to this and this and that. The point is what engineers lack is the right training in soft skills, training in public speaking, training in developing relations, in networking, the social capital, there's engineers, they're lacking in that. They don't have any network. They don't go for the higher trainings. There are no foreign trainings, and most of them, they decline. Very few for NESPAC or some of this go. So these are some of the things which Ali Sajid Sahib has rightly pointed, and we should take stock of our weaknesses. It's not that we cannot improve the basic education levels, the basic hardworking, values. They are all there in engineers, but different training, I think, and different training in soft skills, training in networking, that is lacking. So I must say that when I got inducted in the C&W department, we had a training at the Punjab Engineering Academy in Lahore. It was under irrigation, and that's a very good training. I see it was later I did civil service academy courses. It was always as equivalent to that thing, and they were going good. And then recently during PEC elections, I went there, and they had nothing. They had all the messes, they had all the arrangements, the hostel accommodation, everything, classrooms, all set up, and the teachers were gone. Even the teachers, they used to borrow from other departments to train them in the ways of civil service and the ways of officers. I think they were gone. So I think this is a department. If you are in government service engineer, I think training is very important. I'm not talking about the private sector. The private sector have a lot of opportunities, and some of the engineers are very good. Thank you very much. This was just a comment I wanted to make.
Thank you, Tipu, for your very nice talk, and it was also very informative. Doctor, if you have to say anything on what Tipu has said or any comment and observation, please go ahead.
I simply endorse his comment. These are very wise and, of course, market-driven based upon his experience. Engineering Academy Lahore, I have been teaching since last 25 years, is facing this problem of professional not posted there, and absence of those professional leadership conspicuously missing there. I hope that new government will work on that. I have the email of Asani Palsab. I will request him based upon the observation made. That is the only best source of engineers for getting the soft skills, leadership skills, communication, and motivation. I also encourage, rather offer my services to this forum for a one-day 9 to 5, 9 to 6 training for soft skills for engineers on spot at any place. मैं इसके लिए एक दिन volunteer करता हूँ, तो कोई 1.5 घंटे में I could hardly touch the core issues, tip of the iceberg. It should be even at least for the 2 days. Engineering Council should do that, or that Thoker Niaz Bek Engineering Academy should do that. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, Tahir, can I ask a question? This is Khalid Bashir.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, Khalid, go ahead. Thank you for asking.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Dr. Ali Sajid, thank you very much. I think wonderful lecture, and also great comments by my friend Tipu. I think let me add a little bit. Everybody is right that engineers lack, soft skills, and then project management skills. Technically, they may be very good, but these project management skills and soft skills are very, very important. And I think in the start you mentioned, Dr. Ali Sajid, that this is for young engineers. I think this is more for senior engineers. Because I have seen in government departments, and I'm working with consultants for the last 30 years. I worked with government also initially. So I have experienced that, our young engineers are comparatively better. They are good in IT, and their behavior is also good, maybe difference of schooling and other things. But sorry to say, our senior engineers lack, most of the things you mentioned in your lecture. So I think it needs a kind of revolution, and I strongly suggest PSCE to go for soft skill trainings like these, project management skills also. Technical lectures are very, very important, I agree. But these project management lectures and soft skills lectures are most important, because when you are leaders, or when you are project managers, or when you are senior officers like XCNs and SCs, you need management there. So these are my comments. Only last one question. Most of the time we feel that we are helpless when we face a failure person who has most of the qualities or bad qualities you mentioned. What about, if you are facing a person who is very pessimistic, and you want to, control yourself and improve what should we do? For a pessimistic person, when
You're asking from me, Mr. Khalid Bashir?
yeah, Dr. Ali Sajid, what should we do when we are facing, for example, a negative person or person?
I normally try to counsel. What I do normally is I try to counsel, make the conditions more conducive for him, try to address his genuine complaints. Or end page, larger danda is a kharaja danda. I try to post it out or make him OST. Or ultimately, if I have the power, I will throw him out from my department. UT mein jab main professor tha, I give him 3 or 4 chances to these kind of people, and then I post them in Narwal campus or Gujarat campus or Faisalabad campus or these kind of stuff. वो इसका हल नहीं है, लाजे दंदा is a खराजे दंदा.
Yeah, Dr. Ali, sorry, actually I wanted to end the debate because lecture is already very late, but sorry to say, I do not agree with this solution.
You have the right. Give me some solution.
Dr. Ali, I know I'm not saying that we have an accurate solution for this, but sometimes we are in a fix. We are working on a project. We are.
Khalid Bashir sir, I can't hear.
आवाज कट रही है, मसला पड़.
अच्छा, Ali Sajid sir,
You come
like
in.
millions of yeah, go ahead.
Khalid Saab, I think we are having some technical issues with your microphone.
Okay, sorry.
Avoid too much.
Yeah, okay.
Let's end the question. And
I think it's all right. Go ahead, please.
Dr. Saab, if you have to say something, I have a last question. The last question.
Go ahead. Last question. I will take the last question.
Okay. Now, as I said, your lecture was wonderful, very knowledgeable, and you pointed out rightly what we as an engineers lacking. Mike, and you see, we know that most of the engineers have weak management skills, weak administrative skills, and even I would say the public relationship is not what is required. And the students which are coming, the young engineers which are coming out of university, most of them, not all of them, but most of them have a very weak writing power and a very weak speaking power. So now what you have said, what I'm saying is the result of what you have said. So my question is now, how to inculcate what you have pointed out in the minds of engineer when they are starting their career, because this is very important. So please be brief, as we have very short time remaining. Thank you.
I met the country director, senior official of the Coca-Cola Lahore. He said that the problem with the engineers, they even cannot negotiate their own pay, what to talk about writing a letter or application. That is the first comment. We in UET are not able to train them, groom them. We are there to ask them to memorize few formula, theta, beta, under root, stress management, stress equation, and then give them degree. Personality development is not part of their education. Leadership is not their mood. I spent 8 years in USA in various universities. And by virtue of my training in army or otherwise, I got the exposure of these things. That is by chance. This is not by design. So by design, we need to change the syllabus, curriculum, and involve them in the campus life, active campus life, develop their leadership skills through camps and trainings in the universities. Our university teachers are mostly from the remote Punjab villages, and they don't have the requisite technical or leadership or motivational or communication skills themselves. So there's a dire need to groom or develop the faculty first. And the final year, they should be given exposure to short capsule type trainings in the respective areas, which they are missing. I have seen all UT graduates with me in Washington, DC, delivering the pizza or delivering the Washington Post. Only Air Force and Army officers were there who were teaching the universities because they were having good communication skills and they were trained. Even वापडा के चेयरमैन का बेटा वहां पे वो पिज़्ज़े बांट रहा था वाशिंगटन में मेरा क्लास मेंबर का. तो मैं एनकरेज करूंगा कि यूनिवर्सिटीज में करिकुलम को रिवाइज करें. अगर आप इफ यू नो द वाइस चांसलर, सो रिक्वेस्ट हिम टू मॉडिफाई द कोर्स करिकुलम and make the campus life more stronger with a view to inculcate the leadership requisite with leadership skills. This is my submission.
ताया साहब एक कैसे ऐड कर लूं मैं चीज जल्दी.
Please go ahead.
अच्छा, ये जो आपने अभी बात की है ना, all these things जो आपने मेंशन किए हैं ताया सुल्तान, they are lacking. Communication skills, speaking skills, networking skills, public relations skills, सॉफ्ट स्किल्स, अदर सॉफ्ट स्किल्स, ठीक है ना, राइटिंग स्किल्स, स्पीकिंग, ये लैक करते हैं ये. और मैंने आई वाज सरप्राइज्ड कि जब ने इंडक्शन ट्रेनिंग की थी पंजाब इंजीनियरिंग एकेडमी में 2-3 मंथ्स की, दैट करिकुलम वाज एट पार विद द सिविल सर्विस एकेडमी एंड द टीचर्स आर वेरी गुड. आई डोंट नो व्हाट हैपेंड टू दैट. I think the induction training of government departments engineers, I think that should be compulsory, and a progressive training just like this one. There's also progressive training for 1 week or 2 days or 3 days that should continue with them. And there is nothing wrong with the curriculum. That can be, the curriculum is there. I was involved with the TNA of the ASPs and others SPs. And the first thing was that you have to first of all identify what are their needs, training needs. And these are the you just identified, Taha Sultan Saab and Ali Sajid Saab. So this should be, I think, not to the engineering university has done their part. They have English department, they have other department. But I think the other, when they go out in the field, I think, for example, we were civil engineers. We didn't know how to, what was the book, we used to, क्या कहते हैं जिसपे measurement करते थे, measurement book होती, MB होती थी. हमें कुछ पता नहीं था उसके बारे में. And we PC1 के बारे में कुछ पता नहीं था. वहाँ इंजीनियरिंग एकेडमी से पता चला, मेजरमेंट बुक के बारे में वहां से पता चला, स्पीकिंग उन्होंने हमारी स्पीचेस वगैरह कराते थे, and then there was a lecture. So I think that thing should be there. That is very important aspect which is missing from the engineers training. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saab. Again, Tipu, I'm really thankful for the deep insight you have shared with us here this afternoon. Wonderful. And now we are really pressed with the time. In fact, we are over. So I would have to make my final announcements, and then we will end this lecture. First, I must thank Dr. Riaz Akhtar, who was my co-host. I forgot to take his name when I was making earlier the announcement. He's my, in every lecture, he's my co-host. In case anything happens, technical issues, I get out of the line, then he takes over my responsibilities. I would like to thank Ms. Sadia Zafar, who is our coordination officer, and our IT person, Hasnan, who are doing wonderful job to make this transmission smooth, trouble-free, so that you can enjoy it. So this was the part of my duty. And now the next lecture is on 16th July. The speaker is Dr. Fuad Muzaffar. It's a technical lecture. It's on time history analysis, target spectrum, selection of ground motions and other advanced motions. Dr. Fuad Muzaffar, it would be 16th July 2022. The certificates would, all the participants for the CPD points, they can collect their certificates from 15th June from 83M Model Town Extension, Lahore. And Dr. Saab, your shield and your certificate would be delivered at your doorstep by Ms. Sadia Naveed, some messenger will, and inshallah you will receive it, I think, early in the coming week. And now this was the only announcement I had to make, and thank you very much for all the participants, especially on the Facebook, who take all the trouble at odd times to come and listen to us. Dr. Sajid Sahab has has written his email and his cell number in the chat box. So all participants, if you have any questions or any clarification you need, you can directly write to Dr. Ali Sajid on his email, which is alisajid61@yahoo.com, and he has also written his cell number in the chat box. It is 0300-856-1147. Dr. Ali Sajid. You can contact him directly. And his lecture will also be available on our website from, I think, tomorrow. And if anybody wants to see it again, he can go to our website and he can enjoy the lecture again. Thank you very much, everybody. God bless you all. Take care.